Hello everyone, welcome back to Angela's Craft Room. Today, using the Bow Builder Punch and the Pansy Punch and a couple of the smaller punches, I just wanted to show you how I make this embellishment for my cards. So it's just another use of putting a couple of punches together and coming out with this beautiful flower that we can use on our card. So let's get started. So the punches I'm going to use is the Bow Builder Punch. Just zoom out a little bit for you. The Pansy Punch. The 3/4 of an inch circle punch. And the 7/8 of an inch circle punch. Okay. So they're the 4 punches that we need to do this. So with the Bow Builder Punch, I've cut out our 7 tails that we need for our flower. And you will need a bone folder for this too. And we will be using one of the 3/4 of an inch circle punch. Okay. So to start with, I'm taking my bone folder and I'm just going to break up those fibres a little bit by just curling that up just a little bit. You can always push it down again later. So we just quickly just break up those fibres on the end of the tail of the punch outs that we've punched out with the Bow Builder Punch. So it's just not for making bows. It's a very versatile punch I've found. So then I'm going to use my 3/4 of an inch circle and my multi-purpose glue. Just going to put some glue on there. And just grab a cotton bud. Just circle it around. I don't want too much glue on because then it won't stick. Then we've got to fit 7 of these on the circle. So the good thing with the multi-purpose glue, it does give us a little bit of time to rearrange our flower. So I'm just going round. I just don't want that circle to stick to my grid paper. That wouldn't be good. And I'll just grab my old bone folder, the one that's got all the glue on it. Sometimes you just need to hold that down a little bit. Just don't let that circle stick to your grid paper. Wants to come off with my finger, so I'm just going to use my old bone folder. I don't use your new one because it's always good to have a couple and keep an older one. And I might have curled them up a little bit, so and then just one more in there. And I don't want that circle to stick to the bottom of my grid paper. So I'm just going to pick it up. Might just get a little bit of gluey hands. So it just depends how much of a curl. We can always push that down later. So that's the base of our flower. Then I'm just going to glue a circle, which I'll just use a little bit of snail to go in the center of there. So that's the beginning of our flower embellishment. Then we're going to cut out using the Pansy Punch, which I showed you earlier, which the Pansy Punch coordinates with the Flower Shop stamp set too. So we've cut that out. Now, what I was just going to let you know is you can cut it out with the designer series paper you've used for your petals, and then you could just use the opposite so it's corresponding. But I do like to use a cardstock, so I've just punched out some old olive in the with the Pansy Punch, and I've just curled up the sides. Now another thing you can do if you want a bit of extra, you can get a little bit of on your stamp pad and you can just sponge those corners, sorry going off camera, just sponge those round like that if you want to do that. Okay, that's another tip for you. So then what we're going to do, we're going to grab, I would normally adhere this with tear and tape, but for quickness of the video I'll just put a bit of snail down just so you get the general idea. So then I'm just going to place it where I want in the circle and just bring up the petals a bit like that. So we've got that so far, and then with the 7/8 inch scalloped circle I want the flowery design to show in the middle. So I'm just going to apply some snail to that, and then I'm just going to pop that in the middle like that. So far we've got that. So it's coming together quite nicely. And then what I like to do is get the largest of the metal rim pearls. You get the metal rim pearls, and they are adhesive, so you're just going to peel and stick. You get 24 of those, so that's quite, and they are 3 different sizes. So then I'm just going to peel off the back. I just love these metal rim pearls. I just use them all the time. Now I'm going to just push down on that, and there's our flower. And it's just another way of embellishing your cards. So I went ahead and made one previously. So to start with, I've just used 8.5 long by 5.5, and then scored it 4 1/4 in mint macaron. And then in the Pretty Petals paper stack I've used the designer series paper, which is 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, which I've put on there. Then I've taken a piece of mint macaron cardstock and just embellished it with an embossing embossing folder, just to add some extra texture to my card. Now I have to see where I want to place that, because what I'm also going to use is some Expressions Natural Elements. Now for those that don't know what they are, Stampin' Up brought out some words in a pack, and I just love them. They're like a chipboard, but you can paint them, you can gloss them, you can emboss on them. They're just fabulous. And what you do get in that pack, you get 3 words. So I'll just let you know that. You get congrats, celebrate, and thanks. And you get five of each word in each pack. So that's really good value for $8.75. So I've taken the thanks one. Whoops. I've taken the thanks word, and what I did was I used my dauber and I just, with my ink pad, just stamped it up, And then I use some Wink of Stella Clear. It's there, the Wink of Stella Clear, and once the ink dried I just jazzed it up a bit with the Wink of Stella. So I don't know that you can really see that, but it does give it a nice glisten on the card. So I want to see where I want to sit this flower. I want that to be round that side. So that big flower is at the top. I'm going to pop that about there. And then I need enough room to put the thanks down there. So that's going to have to, that panel's going to have to go pretty much close to the top so that I can fit that thanks in there. So what I will do is put the thanks in first using the fine tip glue. It's really good, especially for jobs like this. So I'll just zoom in a bit for you so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue, and if you get too much on there, just use a cotton bud and get it, just take a little bit off. So just around a few points, because this fine tip glue is very strong. Now I just feel I've got a bit too much on that end. Okay, so then, sure I haven't got any sticky glue down there. I want it to open that way. So I want it to open this way, so I just need to get it, and using my grid paper to line it up, I'm just going to put the thanks, because once this hits, it's going to stick with that fine tip glue. It's not going to give you much grace to move it. But I think it's better that we put that on there first. So we've got thanks at the bottom. So just zoom out a little bit for you. Okay, so then we're going to bring in our embossed piece of paper, and remember I want the big flower up there, so I'm just going to put some snail on the back. Now remember, I need to go right to the top literally, because that thanks is just fitting on there for me. So just a bit of frayed edge there where I embossed, but it's okay. Now I'm just eyeballing to see that I've got it about the same width on each side and that it's straight at the top. And then I'm just going to press that down in place. So it just gives you that wonderful extra bit of texture to your card. Like that. And then what we're going to do, I'm just going to grab some tear and tape. I'm really sorry about that. I don't like doing that during a tutorial, but let me get away. But I do like to adhere these flowers with tear and tape, because everything else just isn't strong enough. When you've put a bit of work into your embellishment, you don't want it coming off. So you can see that I'm just putting it on the back, and as it says, tear. And I can tell you that this is as good as the red sticky tape that we used to have, and that's discontinued now, and they brought in the tear and tape, and I've I really, personally, I like the tear and tape a lot better than I do that red sticky tape. I just found it was really hard to get my fingers. I don't have long nails, and I found it really hard to get under there. So I'm just seeing where I've placed that. And there's probably just at least one more piece over there. You can cut it. I'm just tearing it for quickness today. But it does peel off really easy. Now, I want to see where I'd like this on my card. I've got a big flower here which has been embossed. So I think what I'm going to do is go right up to the point of this corner. And I'm just pulling up that flower petal there, so it gives it more of a 3D. And just where I haven't caught the tear and tape, I'm just under those petals. That one's all right. That one's all right. Just a couple of them have been missed with the tear and tape, so that's our embellishment, and that's our card finished for today. So I hope that you will give it a try, especially with this lovely embellishment. It's just another way that you can use your bow builder punch. And don't forget, don't overlook these lovely wooden chipboardy names, because I just love them. Like, as I said, I just used a dauber and my ink pad and just daubed on it, and then when that was dry I just added some Wink of Stella Clear. And you will need the fine tip glue pen, which is this one, to glue that down, because you know you don't want it lifting off. And then the metal pearled rims in the middle, and that's it. So that's a really easy technique to learn, and I just really hope that you will give it a try. And I just really like to thank you for joining me today in my craft room, and until next time, have a crafty day.